We need to know why fire hydrants didn't have water.
Well, it's not that they didn't have water. The fire hydrants had the water, just not enough to put out 9,000 burning buildings at the same time. And here in here in New Jersey, you know, if you, I say this a little bit because I'm trying to make myself giggle, but sometimes, you know, when you turn on the water to wash the dishes and somebody's taking a shower at the same time, and then you're trying to wash the dog outside. There's no water.
Yeah.
That's how you have to think of it. 900,000 things at one time looking at one spigot.
We back with some more of this embarrassing view moment. Yes, we are back with Whoopi Goldberg where she is losing it. I just found out that that is not her real name, and I believe her real name is Karen. That is ridiculous. If you knew that, type it in the comments. In the meantime, sit back and react. We're about to see them lose their mind over how this wildfire situation is being handled. We already know that they make everything political. They might as well just join a political party for real instead of just sitting on the sideline always speculating. For some reason, why are they not talking about Sonny Hostin's husband, huh? They could talk about everyone else. Throw everyone else under the bus except her husband. What a shame. In the meantime, if you like reactions like this, consider hitting that like button. Definitely subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell. Let's see how this is about to play out. Let me stop wasting your time. Let's go ahead and press play.
So let's start with this. Right now, responders are desperately trying to contain the wildfires ravaging Los Angeles. A lot of officials are scrambling to find answers and fighting back against misinformation. Take a look.
This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water.
That mayor of LA, if that were a Republican mayor, I could only imagine what that would do. I mean, you know the fires are at high risk, and you try to go to Africa?
Your governor is gutless, and your mayor's gutless. They need to throw them all out. But will they do it? I doubt it. I doubt it. They'll figure out some way to blame this on Donald Trump.
There was a serious lack of competent governance in California, and I think it's part of the reason why these fires have gotten so bad.
I don't see nothing wrong. Listen, I don't see nothing wrong. There's no misinformation. What they're saying is true. You see, they always love to flip it only when it's a Republican. However, you do have the fire commissioner coming out saying how they have a big issue with what's going on right now. They're not properly funded, and there's less stations now. There's less firefighters. They actually got rid of a lot of firefighters. Let's be serious. And there wasn't enough water in all of the fire hydrants. How is it misinformation, Whoopi? How? Let me know in the comments if you think I'm the one that's reaching right now. But let me show you the clip that I'm telling you about. Check this clip out.
My message is the fire department needs to be properly funded.
And it's not.
It's not at this point, and we've got the justification. We know where our gaps in service are. We know we need 62 new fire stations. We need to double the size of our firefighters. The growth of this city since 1960 has doubled, and we have less fire stations.
Let's repeat that, because those numbers are a little jarring. You know, 20 years ago, you had more fire stations than you have now?
We had 112 fire stations. Now we have 106. And since 2010, we've had an increase, doubled our call volume, which is firefighters responding to calls, 55% increase with 68 less firefighters.
I hope you heard what she just said. So the budget signed in June and covering the 2024-2025 fiscal year eliminated $101 million from 7 wildfires and forest resilience programs. I mean, that doesn't sound like good leadership to me, right? Sounds like a little, you know, a little plan right there. So to cut the budget by $100 million months before lethal California fires, something got to raise your eyebrows, right? Something make you go,
Actually, here's what Governor Gavin Newsom has had to say about all of this. Watch.
We had my team start talking to local leaders, saying what's going on. Our state,
and you weren't getting straight answers from.
I was getting
leaders.
different answers. We're in this emergency environment and everything else. So I just want to determine the facts. But no one has any patience anymore. In this weaponized, back to the grievance of Trump, everyone else. People, there's immediacy. And lies travel the proverbial world, and it's hard to get the facts out.
I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt in reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full. The state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us.
Actor James Wood has publicly thanked your firefighters, but he is also criticizing at the same time your leadership. He has said that your focus on diversity and not keeping the reservoirs filled with water is the problem. And I want to give you the opportunity to respond to that.
I appreciate that, so thank you. So I can be very, very clear with all the listeners and people that are watching. My top 3 priorities since day one has been this. I want to clearly articulate that. Number 1 priority from day one is ensuring that the LAFD has the capability to respond to our emergency calls, that we're able to provide services to the citizens every single day, every single hour. That's my number 1 priority. Number 2 priority has been and will continue to be focusing on our firefighter safety, health, and well-being. My 3rd priority is encouraging a positive work environment, and that has not changed since day one.
Now remember what they said. The reservoirs were all filled and they were good to go. Check it out.
This was supposed to be the water to put out the Palisades fire. This is the Santa Ynez Reservoir. It's the water supply basically for the Palisades. When they first started fighting the Palisades fire, they ran out of water extremely quickly. Wednesday, 3 a.m., they were basically out. And there's been a lot of talk on why this happened. So how long has this reservoir been empty for? Since February of last year. There was no communication from the Department of Water and Power to LAFD that there was a water supply issue. The firefighters, when they started fighting the fires, no one informed them that the reservoir was empty. This reservoir holds 117 million gallons of water. The fire department was using a water supply from 3 backup tanks, each one only holding 1 million gallons of water. They say it's closed for maintenance to repair the lid that's on top of it. I don't know a lot about reservoir maintenance, but there's literally no construction materials or vehicles anywhere in sight. Also, with a reservoir like this, you can refill it or start to refill it. So another question is, if they saw the Santa Ana winds were coming and we have this remarkably dry wet season, why was there no attempt to start refilling it back up? I know I threw a lot out there, but I think we need some answers, guys.
Now you see what I'm saying. Having a private, now you see why Gavin Newsom having a private investigation only means that he's going to have time to manipulate, that he's only going to have time to manipulate what he wants you to know. And that's ridiculous right there. Y'all allow that to happen. I don't know. You know, they're going to tell you whatever at that point.
It's about the Delta smelt in reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full. The state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us.
Here's how this works. There was a fire catastrophe in California. Had to do with winds. You know how they're always saying, oh, the wind. It actually does. The winds move things and sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have if 900,000 buildings go up at the same time. Now, having lived in California, having lost every house save for one that we ever lived in, I take great offense at pointing fingers. You should be pointing fingers about how can we help?
Yeah.
It's too soon to be saying, oh, it's Gavin's fault. It's nobody's fault. This
is what I'm going to correct it right now. It's not the matter of whose fault it is, right? But accountability will get you very far, all right? When you see people pump faking, you got to start pointing the fingers and say, listen, hold on now. He's not a hero. He's not a hero. He had plenty of time to help the infrastructure actually sustain the fire. He had enough time to improve the infrastructure. He never did it. For her to say what she's saying, to me, is outrageous. It seems like she's a professional of everything. When it comes to politics, when it comes to health, when it comes to your children, whatever it is, any subject matter, she is a professional. She is Miss Queen Generic, all right? She is the generic queen. That's what we're going to call her from now on, all right? She's GQ, Generic Queen.
Like us taking seriously that there are, you know, magic lasers in the sky that direct the weather. That doesn't work. It doesn't happen. This is a catastrophe, and this is what's happened. And let's try to figure out how to work towards not having it happen again. But, you know, we don't control Mother Nature. Mother Nature doesn't give a damn what we want. Mother Nature does what she does, and if you're in the way, this is what happens. And California is chock full of people. So far, 24 lives have been lost. Evacuations continue. So what should these officials be doing to get help or get this under control?
It should be an all hands on deck operation. In fact, Governor Newsom thanked Texas Governor Greg Abbott for sending firefighters in. Canada, Mexico, they sent people in even while we're talking about Donald Trump potentially purchasing all of these places. So I think right now, people understandably are looking to place their rage somewhere. So I don't know if it makes people feel better to point their finger, but just like North Carolina after the storm, you don't start recapping a game until the game's over. There are fires ravaging not only the land, but people the count of bodies keeps going up and up. They haven't even gone and been able to see how this all started. You can't start right now doing this. Everyone should be saying, how can we help? And they should be flooding over there, whether it's money and GoFundMe accounts, whatever you can do to help. But this is not the time to blame it on officials when we are living in a time of a lot of climate change and things that are happening. I just find it a little disturbing that you're going to actually blame a mayor, a governor. If they were standing right in that spot, the fire still would have started.
Well, and I think first and foremost, I know we all thank the firefighters and the first responders. They've put themselves in harm's way. Where there's new warnings today that the winds are picking back up. This could continue to spread. I think we're all praying for them. My sister was evacuated, then not. I've had friends who have lost everything. I know you've had very close friends. It's devastating. And what I don't like is that there's the jump to go to the politics of it. What does need to happen is at some point the accountability and the after action of what went wrong and what did we not have that we needed to have. I was frustrated, and I would hope you come on the show. Gavin Newsom's been a friend of the show. I was frustrated that in 2 different interviews, he pointed to, well, the municipal authorities should have known, the local governments should have. But we live in a country where the buck stops with the leader, the governor, the buck stops with the president. And I think that he needs to have those answers. I get that you don't in real time, but there needs to. We need to know why fire hydrants didn't have water.
Well, it's not that they didn't have water. The fire hydrants had the water, just not enough to put out 9,000 burning buildings at the same time.
Hold up. You heard what she said? Who is this girl right here? Who is this person right here? Is she really gonna sit here and gaslight us like this? It's all over the media, and she has the audacity to say it's not that they didn't have water. She's saying that they had water, it's just not enough to put the fires out. Make it make sense to me. How did she make it this far? I have no clue. I can't believe I used to like her in Sister Act. I cannot believe that.
Not that they didn't have water. The fire hydrants had the water, just not enough to put out 9,000 burning buildings at the same time. And here in here in New Jersey, you know, if you, I say this a little bit because I'm trying to make myself
Why are you laughing?
giggle. But sometimes, you know, when you turn on the water to wash the dishes and somebody's taking a shower at the same time, and then you're trying to wash the dog outside, there's no water.
Wait. What? Did she mean maybe there's not hot water? Because the water's going to keep going. I could put all my faucets on. I could put the sprinkler on. I could turn the kitchen sink on, right? The bathroom sink, the shower. Water's going to keep flowing, baby. What are you talking about? Where did she get her... Where did she get her intelligence from? She needs help. Now, remember what she said, that the hydrants had enough water. However, meet Janice Quinones, who was hired by Mayor Karen Bass to be LA's $750,000 a year water chief that oversaw the emptying of the Santa Ynez Reservoir, and said that the number one thing she cared about in her role as LADWP water chief was equity. Can you believe that right there? Also, Quinones took to the reservoir offline to repair a tear and ignored all the broken fire hydrants. Come on now. Like, if it's a broken fire hydrant, that means there's no water coming out of it. Let her explain it. Watch.
Important for the DWP. You call it powered by equity, and I know that it's been really important for the DWP to put an equity lens on everything.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the number one thing that attracted me to this role. Coming from the communities that I come, seeing what I've seen through my career in utilities and through the military. I've been in the Coast Guard 19 and a half years now, so I got 6 more months to qualify for my 20 years, which was my original goal.
Wow, congratulations, and
thank
you for your service.
Thank you. It's important to me that everything we do, it's with an equity lens and social justice and making sure that we right the wrongs that we've done in the past from an infrastructure perspective, and that we involve the community in that process. And this utility is serious about it, is authentic about it. And so I'm just super excited to be part of that.
Santa Ynez Reservoir down in LA normally looks like this, filled up with 117 million gallons of water, which is tasked with providing drinking water down to LA. It's used for helicopters to stop in, pick up some water, go put out some fires around LA and the surrounding areas. But perhaps more importantly, it provides water to the fire hydrants in Pacific Palisades and other surrounding areas. But during the fires down in LA, the reservoir looked like this. Completely devoid of water and empty since February 2024. Now, the Department of Water knew it was empty, and certain LA City officials knew that it was empty, but apparently LA City Fire Department did not know that it was empty, which is why firefighters and a lot of other people were wondering why there wasn't very much pressure in the fire hydrants and why they ran out of water for the Pacific Palisades fire. Now, according to some officials, the fact that the reservoir was empty really isn't something that would have mattered in the case of the Pacific Palisades fire, because apparently all of the pipes that feed the fire hydrants are super tiny, and they wouldn't have been able to handle the usage that day and during the fires, like what happened with the Eaton fire in Pasadena. I think it's time that these cities look at their underground infrastructure and realize that maybe some of it's very old. But I want to know what you guys think about the reservoir being empty and the LA Fire Department not knowing about it, and if you think it would have mattered to help put out the Pacific Palisades fire.
What in the world was Whoopi Goldberg talking about? Now you tell me, what was Whoopi Goldberg, aka Karen, talking about? Because I'm confused still right now. She's really trying to gaslight us.
That's how you have to think of it. 900,000 things at one time looking at one spigot. That's how you have to look at it.
Can I just say one last thing? Is the LA Fire Chief Crowley, who said that they needed more resources and they didn't have them, was kind of contradicted by some folks. But I don't think there's a fire chief in America dealing with this crisis who would say that if it's not true, and that needs to be looked at. If there are not enough resources to fight the fires, then there needs to be more money going toward that.
Well, Whoopi, you're right. I mean, experts have said that it's the local water shortages happened not because there wasn't water, but because the city's infrastructure wasn't designed to respond to a fire as large as the one that happened. So you are absolutely right about that. In terms of politicizing this fire, that's what I've been most disgusted by. I was
that's what you
thrilled
guys are
to
doing.
learn that Mexico was sending aid, the very people that Donald Trump would like to build the wall against.
You hear this, right? Did we forget that Kamala, whatever you want to call her, the chameleon, was agreeing to build a wall as well? So I don't know, this show, they got to get rid of this show right here. This show is just unbelievable at this point.
Let's be perfectly clear. The president's medieval vanity, and folks, on the subject of transnational gangs, let's be perfectly clear. The president's medieval vanity project is not going to stop them.
This issue is about a vanity project for this president.
Right.
And it is a problem of his own making.
Right.
And listen, when I travel this country, folks have plenty enough problems that they need their president to focus on, instead of a wall that, by the way, because I was a prosecutor for many years, including the Attorney General of California, I specialize on transnational criminal organizations.
Yeah.
That wall ain't gonna stop them.
No.
So this just in, Kamala Harris is now saying she wants to spend millions and millions of dollars on the wall at the southern border if she becomes president. Now, just not that long ago, she was actually mocking Trump about the wall, saying it was a, quote, medieval vanity project. Check this out.
And folks, on the subject of transnational gangs, let's be perfectly clear. The president's medieval vanity project is not going to stop them.
This issue is about a vanity project for this president. Right. And it is a problem of his own making. Right. And listen, when I travel this country, folks have plenty enough problems that they need their president to focus on, instead of a wall that, by the way, because I was a prosecutor for many years, including the Attorney General of California, I specialize in transnational criminal organizations. Yeah. That wall ain't gonna stop them. No.
I'm laughing because of how stupid she looks right now. I mean, the definition of hypocrisy, I mean, literally, she's making fun of Trump years ago about the wall, and then now she's saying she wants to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on the wall. And once again, this is taking Donald Trump's ideas.
So now you can see where the delusion takes its course, right? These women they're lost. They're super lost. I don't know how they're leaders in their homes, but they're lost.
Well, they must have climbed over the wall because now they're here helping put out these fires. Canada, who he wants apparently to be the 51st state, they are here helping us. So our neighbors have come in and helped us. And that's what should be happening. And I applaud Mexico and Canada for helping. But who I don't applaud is someone like Jesse Waters on Fox News. This is what he said. He blamed LA fires on diversity. He blamed them on California's
maybe because one burn was burning bright and one was darker.
I don't know.
Is that the kind of diversity?
Because he says it was unbelievable. I thought it was fake news. He said that California's woke politics and DEI are the reasons for the fires because Newsom has been tearing down dams because Native Americans, but he called them Indians, wanted some of the river back so they could catch salmon. And Gavin didn't just knock down one dam for the Indians. He knocked them all down. He knocked down 4 of the dams.
But she keeps saying Indians.
I'm sorry. This is stolen land, first of all, okay? California is stolen land. Second of all, that's part of what always happens. These dams, there's preservation of the dam. So,
all right, here they go deflecting. And here they go sounding like a professional in every subject. First off, we all know due to the war with America and Mexico, eventually they sold a portion of their land, and let's stop calling it what it ain't and what it is. You understand what I mean? Stop trying to incite problems that we don't need. You guys are politicizing this whole situation right here. Listen, go in the comments. Let me know if you agree with the view right here. You think I'm reaching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Love.